I like to think of myself as an open-minded person. I like most foods.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Yes.
And I'm open to surprises. That was so surprisingly delicious. However, there are a few foods that I do not like. Number 1, bitter gourd.
Bitter gourd.
Number 2, cantaloupe.
It's like, who cares?
Number 3, liver.
I still don't know if I love liver in this.
And number 4, walnuts. I don't like walnuts. I think they taste like dust. I dislike walnuts greatly. Go on in, you vials. Maybe toasting will make them better. Nah. Let's add the frickin' walnuts. That's enough, that's enough. I've done episodes in the past where you all have tried to convince me that I actually would like bitter gourd, liver, and cantaloupe if cooked in another way. We had some failures.
The bitter gourd is very bitter still for me in this dish. I like the cheese and the bread. The liver, I still don't love it. Ooh!
But we had some successes as well.
I like it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You guys, are you making me think differently about cantaloupe? Yes, this is like steak. The texture is like steak. Oh, and it tastes really good.
So I asked you all to send me a walnut dish that will change my mind, and I have 3 that I'm gonna try today. Did you all know that I have a new show on PBS Food? It's about 2 people swapping recipes from their culture to learn a little bit more about one another.
Oh, it's intense. Oh.
I've never cooked Pakistani food before.
I'm a part of it. We had a whole lot of fun using a lot of you subscribers. I hope that you check it out. The link is in the description.
Hi everyone, my name is Nevin. My family is originally from Turkey, but I have been living in Ireland for the past 20 years. Today I would like to talk to you about a very popular Turkish salad. It's called Gavurdağ salatası, and in English it's called Gavur Mountain salad. I think it's fair to say that I'm fairly nuts about walnuts. I really do eat them every single day. This salad is really special because, you know, in other salads usually there's a bit of sprinkle of nuts on top of it as a decoration, but in this salad the walnuts are the main components. They really are the star of the salad. The salad originates from southern Turkey. It comes from the city of Gaziantep, but I think it's fair to say that nowadays it's popular all across Turkey.
For dishes like these, I feel like my knife skills, they have improved, but I need to get better. I need to study and practice. With the amount that I chop, it feels like practice, and yet I just can't keep my fingers tucked. It scares me, even though it's more dangerous. I do keep my knife sharp though, and that's important. I just want to splay my fingers.
Gavur Mountain salad, well, in my opinion, a very simple, a very fuss-free and a very unpretentious salad. It is really a lovely, wonderfully fragrant summer salad. It's made out of really beautifully sun-ripened vegetables like tomatoes and crunchy cucumbers. They're finely diced.
How am I still chopping? I got this. So far this salad seems great. Love it. Minty, fresh, vegetable-y. These are next.
And a good chunk of finely chopped walnuts.
More?
Is it like a few?
More?
It's a walnut dish. Yeah, fine.
Fine. There was a part of me that thought I was gonna keep these into bigger pieces, and that way, you know, like if you don't like it, you can kind of eat around it. Chop the walnuts into small pieces. It's not a big piece. So that means this is really gonna be a part of the salad, which is good for this episode. It's good for the episode. What's good for the episode is good for me.
Everything is kind of wrapped up with this beautiful, sweet, sour, tangy pomegranate dressing and some spices that are very typical for Turkish cooking as well.
That's a lot of walnuts. All right.
when you're eating it, you're spooning it, and at the very end then you can dip as well your bread and mop up all the juices and the beautiful dressings. So it's not just mainly vegetables and a bit of walnut in it, it's mainly walnuts and a tiny bit of vegetables in it and herbs. Whenever I think of this salad, there's a strong connection of lazy summer afternoons or evenings with the family, my dad being at the barbecue, multiple generations sitting around the table, everybody tucking in, having the lovely food, eating that beautiful salad. I'm not sure whether this dish will convince you, Beryl, to love walnuts or to like walnuts, but I think you might be surprised how the walnuts taste in this salad. It really is, for me, a star salad.
I'm starting with the raw walnut dish because I feel like it's the most natural essence of the nut that I don't like. However, it's covered in pomegranate molasses, which I absolutely love. So I have faith. I'm gonna make sure I get a walnut. The sauce is great. The chopped vegetables, lovely. I love how herbaceous it is. One of my tricks for keeping herbs fresh, in case you were wondering, is dampen a cloth. You're gonna take your herbs in here and wrap them up like a little burrito, just like so. And they will last a lot longer in your fridge this way. Don't put them in a cup of water. It's a lie. This is the way. I like when all the vegetables are the same size. It really feels like a very complete salad. I really taste the walnuts. I'm tasting the bitterness. I'm tasting what I feel like is that very waxiness where they're just in my teeth. The sauce is not covering them up enough. There's great texture in this dish, and there's a great balance of savoriness and sourness from that pomegranate molasses. I would just replace the walnuts with pita chips. You want that crunch? Like, that would be really good. You could replace them with chickpeas. Look, I know the point is not to replace them. I would say this dish has not convinced me that I like walnuts, but it has double convinced me that I love pomegranate molasses. And it's something that I think many people should keep in their house. I'm gonna have Leia come in and try this because she does like walnuts. Leia, yes. Please come on set.
All right, here we go. I was worried we didn't put enough walnuts in this, honestly, but you can taste and see them. Okay, I think if you like walnuts, this is delicious. Make it, definitely do it. And if you don't, Beryl, like, I get it.
Yeah, without those nuts, this is a great salad. Sorry, we didn't get me on this one. While I may not love walnuts, there's one thing that I do love. Cold coffee. And I'd like to thank Trade Coffee for sponsoring today's episode because they have some of the coolest cold coffee kits for the summer. Get the pun? The coolest? I'll be here. Trade Coffee is a subscription service where every month you'll get a different bag of coffee from roasters all around the USA. They have relationships with over 55 roasters, so there's tons of different options for you to try. Every bag ships within 48 hours and you can decide how you want your coffee, whole beans or a specific type of grind. One thing that Trade Coffee is specializing in this summer are their cold coffee kits. They'll send you everything that you need to transform your favorite hot coffees into delicious cold coffees, which I'm very pro. They have multiple kits to choose from. I chose the Cold Wave Cold Coffee Kit because not only is it good for coffee, it's good for any drink that you want to cool down rapidly. And because it's not using ice cubes, it does not dilute the flavor at all. To make the cold coffee, you're just gonna put the Cold Wave insert into your freezer, brew up to 16 ounces of coffee, place the Cold Wave insert back in, and within 2 minutes, you have cold coffee. Each different kit comes with the cold coffee maker and a 2-pound bag of coffee of your choice. Yum. This one, interestingly enough, has flavors of bold milk chocolate, clementines, and candied walnuts. If you're interested in trying Trade, use my code BERYL and that will give you 30% off your first month of their coffees. It's a great deal.
Hi Hi Beryl, my name is Rojan. I'm from Tehran in Iran. The recipe that I'm about to share is called Fesenjan, or in English, pomegranate and walnut stew. Fesenjan is a traditional Persian stew.
I had to buy another bag of walnuts so I could make this recipe because it needs 2 cups of walnuts. I have even more walnuts in my house.
Which is made with chicken simmered in pomegranate and walnut sauce. The earthy taste of walnut, slightly sweet and sour taste of pomegranate molasses.
The recipe asks for the walnuts to be fine crumbs. I feel like this is it. Oh, well, no, it smells like a walnut. Hasn't really been transformed enough yet. Stage 2.
With tender and juicy chicken creates an unparalleled balance of flavors in this occasional dish. Fesenjan originates in Gilan province in northern Iran, near where pomegranate and walnut trees grow. My family eats Fesenjan on the night of winter solstice, or Yalda, which we call it, taking the longest night of the year. Yalda, translated from Persian to English, means birth, which ultimately underpins the essence of the festival.
So according to this recipe, we can cook this on the cooktop for around 2 hours, or we can use a pressure cooker and cut that down by more than half. So I'm gonna use the pressure cooker in my Instant Pot, and I feel like we should do an Instant Pot episode of dishes around the world using it because this thing is amazing. So that's my thought about that, but yeah, I'm gonna make this in the pressure cooker, so it's a lot faster.
The festival dates back on ancient times, where a majority of people were followers of Zoroastrianism, and from its Zoroastrian roots, Yalda celebrates the renewal of the sun and the victory of light over darkness. When we serve Fesenjan or our family parties and special gatherings, everyone gathers around table eagerly waiting to spoon this incredible stew on their plates. It's so decadent, and people often call it rich man's stew. Honestly, I just like this dish because it reminds me of my grandma and how she used to make it for me when I was a kid. Once you experience the delight taste of sweet and sour and savory flavor combination, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm very happy that I put this in the Instapot because instead of 2.5 hours, it was in the Instapot for 17 minutes. And I think that it turned out well. Before I put the cart before the horse, let me taste it. So I've had this dish before in my Persian foods delivery episode, but I agreed to make this dish before I'd filmed that episode. So at the time, I didn't know the dish at all. Knowing now that I know the dish that I didn't know at the time, but now knowing that I do, I still really like it. The walnut flavor in my version is a little bit stronger than the version from the restaurant, which tasted a lot sweeter. The other flavor is more sour because my pomegranate molasses is a sour pomegranate molasses. I think what surprises me most about this dish is that, in essence, it was like 1 cup of walnuts per chicken thigh. There was 2 cups of walnuts in here, 2 chicken thighs. There is some sauce left over, but I think that because you're eating it with rice, you don't want it to be thin on the sauce. So like if you're gonna make this dish for 4, that's 4 cups of walnuts, which is a hefty dose of walnuts. The walnut flavor, however, it's very pleasing. Like there's a nuttiness to it, but there's not a dustiness to it. And the walnuts still have a bit of crunch, so there's a nice textural element to them. It works really, really well. The stew I feel like is the perfect thickness. And the chicken, because I pressure cooked it, is so tender, it's just falling off the bone. This is a dish I think anybody would like, walnut lover or not, and making it was actually incredibly simple, which is almost in juxtaposition with how complicated the dish tastes. So I would say, as a walnut hater, this dish would make me a walnut lover. So it's definitely one that has changed my mind about walnuts. They've just been transformed into something absolutely incredible, and the pomegranate flavor with them is hands down the best combo of walnuts I've had. Thinking about this dish as a whole, the amount of walnuts in it, the flavors of it, I can't say that I don't like walnuts right now. I cannot say that because this dish has changed my mind.
Hi Beryl, my name is Shi Ling and I'm from Singapore. And the dish that I want to introduce to you is walnut paste dessert. Although it's called a paste, it actually has a very nice silky texture.
So the first part of the recipe says to remove the bitterness, we're gonna boil them in 2 cups of water. At this step, taste them. If they're still bitter, boil more. If it's still bitter, then these walnuts aren't good. We'll see. We're gonna have Leia also taste test because if I just don't like them, you know.
So in the process of cooking, make sure you boil it so that the bitterness goes from the skin to the water and throw away the water.
I think that's the bitterness, the evil coming out of the walnuts. No, not evil, but that's probably something you don't want.
And it's actually a dish that is originating from Hong Kong, but it made its way here to Singapore.
Tasting for bitterness. I don't know. Leia, come. I don't like it.
It's not bitter.
Okay, so we're good?
It just tastes like a walnut.
Okay. All right, we're gonna drain these.
You can find it in quite a number of places in the hawker centers as well as in many dessert shops in Chinatown. I have very fond memories of this dessert because my mother is nuts about nuts and we eat a lot of nuts for afternoons.
Boiled, now we're gonna roast them. These walnuts are getting the full spa treatment.
And I remember going to grocery shopping with her on Sundays, and when we have lunch at our usual hawker center, we'll always order walnut paste dessert.
Now we're gonna blend them. So we've boiled them, roasted them, blending them. I mean, I appreciate it. We're really converting the walnuts.
And whenever I sat down with her with this dessert, she'll always remind me that I should eat more of this because walnuts is full of omega oils, which is good for your brain and it will help you remember things for your exam.
This is not a smooth paste and the blender got stuck. Maybe I'm just gonna add a little more water.
So always remember walnuts is that brain-shaped nut that is good for your brain. That is why you should eat more nuts. I hope you really like this dessert because the process of cooking the nut itself removes the bitterness that people do not like about the walnuts, and most of the bitterness comes from the skin of the walnut.
When does the sugar go in? Stir constantly when I see that in a recipe. My heart drops. I don't like it.
And you should have a very nice silky soup at the end of the day, and then you can top it up with coconut cream as an extra bit of flavor if you want. So I hope you really like this dessert.
Arguably, this is a beautiful dish. I love the color of it. I love the way I decorated it. The texture of it is like, it's got this thick creaminess that is a texture that I really enjoy. This is walnut though, like walnut to the face. It tastes like a walnut, but it doesn't taste like a walnut. I love the texture. It has a little bit of that walnut graininess, but it is so smooth and creamy that I'm just really enjoying the texture of it. And I think I like it. Like, I think I like this. I added a little bit more sugar than the recipe called for, but it's still not a sweet dessert. I would still say that this is like a savory sweet dessert. And the sesame that I put in there, I love the taste of sesame. I am feeling very surprised because this dish, when I was making it, I did not have faith that I would enjoy this. I was really sure that it was just gonna be so walnutty. I love this.
You do?
Yes.
It's great.
Like, I would eat this whole bowl. There are many steps along the way where the walnuts were treated. We boiled them, we roasted them, we ground them, and then added a bunch of stuff to them. Like, they went through the ringer. Leia. Bring on Leia now.
Ooh, the texture looks nice. That's lovely. Like, the texture is truly, I don't think I've ever had anything like that before, and it's just so lovely. The coconut cream on top is really nice.
What do you think of the walnut flavor?
It is walnut, but it's not bitter. It is like the best of what a walnut could be. Yeah, like this is your best foot forward if you're a walnut.
I feel like this episode taught me a lot. I can say that I'm still not a raw walnut lover, but I have definitely found dishes that have made me into a walnut appreciator, which is what the point of the show is all about. I'm gonna leave you 2 other episodes in my Convince Me to Like a Food That I Don't Like series, and until then, I will see you all next week.